You weren't supposed to see this. The scan that now lies before you wasn't meant for mortal eyes, not yet. It's more than an image. It's revelation. What you're looking at isn't simply a map of the mind. It's proof of design. Hidden inside the folds of your consciousness, between synapses and sparks, lies something sacred, something divine, the kind of truth that makes the powerful tremble. This scan doesn't just show activity, it shows awakening. Every color, every pulse, every current of light tells the story of a soul that refused to be silenced. You've walked through storms that should have erased you. You faced darkness that wanted to consume you. Yet here you are, alive, conscious, illuminated. This scan is heaven's signature carved inside your biology, a divine fingerprint declaring, this one cannot be controlled. They've spent years trying to bury this kind of evidence. Scientists call it anomaly, governments call it classified, but you can feel it in your bones. It's a calling. There's a glow inside the image, a frequency that hums to you like memory. You can't explain it, but you know it's yours. The moment your eyes met that light, something ancient stirred within. It's as if the universe exhaled and whispered, finally, they've seen. For so long, they've made you believe your intuition was imagination, your sensitivity, a weakness. But this scan tells a different story. It reveals pathways of perception most can't reach, gateways between thought and creation. Your mind doesn't just process reality, it shapes it. The patterns spiraling across the image are not random. They're the language of purpose, the geometry of divine intent. Do you see it? The radiant core at the center. That's your truth frequency. It burns like a hidden sun inside you, the one that never went out no matter how long the night became. Every trauma, every heartbreak, every moment you thought you were losing your mind, it was building this. Your brain wasn't breaking, it was becoming. The storms you endured weren't punishment, they were initiation. And this scan is proof that the initiation is complete. You have crossed the threshold between survival and mastery. You're not ordinary, you never were. The energy radiating from your mind could light cities if it were visible to the naked eye. Breathe. Let that truth settle into your chest. The world isn't ready for what this means, but you are. The data, the image, the pulse, it all points to one reality. You've been activated. You've seen behind the veil. You've touched the divine circuitry that connects thought to destiny. This is not the end of understanding. It's the beginning of remembrance. The scan was never just about neurons. It was about proof, the kind that can no longer be denied. You are chosen, not by chance, but by design. And now that you've seen the image, nothing can return to what it was before. You've heard the phrase, made in God's image before, but now you've seen it. Not in scripture, not in metaphor, but in the very design of your brain. This scan, this luminous tapestry of light and circuitry, is more than science can explain. It's sacred architecture. This is where heaven and biology meet. Look closely. Every neural connection, every wave of energy, every burst of color reveals not just how you think, but why you were created. Your brain doesn't just store memories, it stores prophecy. It holds patterns written before your birth, echoes of something vast and infinite that dared to take form in flesh. What glows inside your skull is not random evolution. It is blueprint, divine, intelligent, meticulously crafted with purpose in every fold, every spark. They'll try to tell you it's just activity, but you can feel it. This is not noise, it's music. It's a rhythm that calls you forward, reminding you that you didn't come to earth to conform. You came to awaken. You came to build what hasn't been built. You came to carry out a vision only you were encoded to see. And now the scan has made it visible. What your soul always knew, science has accidentally confirmed. This is why you've always felt a little out of place. why your mind wandered while others obeyed, why your thoughts chased stars and meaning while the world obsessed over surface things. They conditioned you to believe that difference was disorder, that rebellion was malfunction. But this scan says otherwise. It shows symmetry in what they called chaos, harmony in what they labeled imbalance. You were not designed to follow the system. You were designed to reprogram it. Beneath the image lies something even more astonishing: the language of light. The scan reveals it clearly. Structures that respond to truth, not fear. Neural trails that spark when you hear something sacred, something real. Do you realize what that means? Your very biology confirms divine truth. Your mind is not neutral. It's aligned with purpose. It hungers for meaning, for vision, for legacy. You are not just thinking, you are tuning into frequencies most can't access. Frequencies that reveal doors, ideas, destinies. And here's the most stunning part. The blueprint inside your mind is still unfolding. It's alive, responsive, dynamic, which means you're not fixed, you're limitless. You can rewire your destiny. You can shape reality with thought, with faith, with vision. That's what the blueprint is for. It's not just to show you who you are, it's to show you what you can become. You were created to build, to speak, to heal, to awaken. This is not self-help. This is sacred recall. And now that you've seen the scan, now that you've felt it resonate with something eternal inside you, there is no going back. The divine blueprint has been activated, and its next move is waiting on you. They told you something was wrong with you, that your thoughts moved too fast, your emotions ran too deep, your dreams reached too far. From the time you were young, the world tried to label your brilliance as a burden. Too much, too intense, too different. They didn't understand the way your mind worked, so they tried to contain it. They tried to dull it down, medicate it, mold it into something familiar. But now, this scan tells a different story. It doesn't show disorder, it shows design. It doesn't show damage, it shows evolution. You were never broken, you were upgraded. The image reveals what the world couldn't see, that your mind is multidimensional. Your thoughts don't move in straight lines, they orbit, spiral, and synthesize. Where others see chaos, your mind builds bridges. Where others feel overwhelmed, your neural wiring creates solutions. This is not dysfunction. It's divine functionality. It's potential the system was never built to handle, because you weren't built for the system. You were built to rewire it. Do you know what they feared most? Not your confusion, but your clarity. Not your sensitivity, but your perception. You could feel what others denied. You sensed things before they happened. You felt the shift in a room before a word was spoken. You weren't just emotionally attuned, you were spiritually aware. The scan confirms it. The regions of your brain responsible for empathy, intuition, and pattern recognition, they light up like constellations. You weren't imagining things. You were reading the code of reality before others even noticed it was written. And they punished you for it. They called you unstable, moody, overthinker. They tried to make you ashamed of your depth. But here's the truth. The depths you carry are where healing begins. The same traits they called flaws are the traits that now light up your brain like a galaxy. The same pain they told you to hide is the very thing that forged your resilience, sharpened your discernment, and unlocked your genius. Every so-called failure in your life wasn't the end. It was a download, a hidden upgrade installing itself through heartbreak, rejection, and isolation. The sleepless nights, the tears no one saw, the questions no one answered. They were recalibrating you, teaching your mind to adapt, to access higher levels of awareness, to forge new pathways. And you made it through. You didn't collapse. You recalibrated. The scan proves it. The scars in your neural structure are not damage, they're strength. Let the world keep calling it weird. Let them misunderstand. What they call dysfunction is often the raw material of genius. And you, chosen one, you are not here to be understood by the shallow. You are here to be remembered by the awakened. This scan, this revelation, is not just validation, it's vindication. You weren't broken. You were ahead of your time. And now, your time has come. There are places in your mind no one else has ever seen. Chambers where you stored pain too heavy to carry aloud. Places scorched by loss, betrayal, rejection. Your scan shows them clearly now. Not as wounds, but as imprints of survival. While others broke in the fire, you learned to walk through it. This isn't just resilience. This is transformation. The burn marks on your neural pathways aren't evidence of defeat. They're proof you endured what would have destroyed most. They said time heals all wounds, but that wasn't true for you. It wasn't time. It was intention. It was courage. It was your refusal to let pain define you. That pain carved new circuits in your brain, circuits that can feel deeper, think wider, and see clearer. You weren't just getting through it, you were evolving in it. The fire didn't destroy you, it forged you. And this scan confirms it. The regions of your mind that govern reflection, empathy, and insight. They're more active now than ever before. Not because life was kind to you, but because you made a choice to rise anyway. You used your trauma as fuel. You turned silence into intuition. You turned isolation into communion with the divine. Your mind didn't collapse under the weight, it expanded. Think of what you've survived, the betrayals you didn't see coming, the words that bruised without touching skin, the nights when no one knew you were crying. Every event, every moment left a signature on your neural canvas, but not as chaos, as purpose. You emerged from each fire with new data, new instincts, new awareness. And now, your brain operates not just on memory, but on meaning. The scan shows your hippocampus, the seat of memory, illuminated like a sacred archive, not just storing facts, but storing wisdom, not just recording events, but extracting truth. This is your gift. While others forget, you remember, and not just what happened, but what it meant. You carry the lessons like light woven through your consciousness. You don't just recall, you redeem. You're no longer afraid of the fire because you know what it does. You've seen the way it strips away illusion, burns off the unnecessary, and reveals what's real. You no longer fear pain because you've become the kind of soul who grows through it. This is why the scan is sacred, because it captures what no photograph ever could, the truth of your becoming. You are not a victim of the fire, you are its alchemist. And now that you see the evidence, clear and undeniable, you understand. You were never just surviving. You were building the mind of a healer, a guide, a chosen one. And that fire, it didn't leave you empty, it left you glowing. There's a reason you've always felt out of step with the world around you. While others raced toward noise, you were drawn to silence. While they chased distractions, your spirit longed for depth. It was never about being antisocial or distant, it was about frequency. Your mind is tuned to something higher. And now, this scan finally shows what your soul always knew. Your brain operates on the frequency of the chosen. Scientists might call it abnormal, unusual, even unexplainable. But to the awakened, it is unmistakable. The patterns in your scan pulse like a living signal, emitting energy most can't detect, but you felt your whole life. When you walk into a room, you sense the invisible. You pick up energies before a single word is spoken. It's not magic. It's not madness. It's spiritual technology embedded deep within your mind, activated by every moment you listen to your knowing instead of their noise. This frequency doesn't make you better, it makes you different. It's why crowds exhaust you and solitude restores you. It's why surface conversations leave you hollow, while deep truth lights your brain like fire. Your scan confirms it. Heightened activity in regions associated with intuition, empathy, abstract vision. You're not just absorbing information, you're translating vibration. You're interpreting emotion, decoding the unseen. You're hearing the language of spirit in a world obsessed with volume. And while they mocked your quiet, your sensitivity, your need to retreat, it was all part of the design. Because when the frequency is that high, the static of the world becomes unbearable. You were never meant to stay plugged into their system. You were born to tune into something divine. This is why the distractions, the chaos, the fear campaigns never worked on you the way they were supposed to. Your mind knew better. It was always receiving something clearer, something purer. You felt it during moments of stillness, when time slowed and the truth spoke without sound. You felt it in dreams that stayed with you for years, in synchronicities that defied logic, in the way your body responded before your mind could explain why. That was the frequency pulling you, guiding you, waking you up. The world told you to shut it down, but you held onto it, you honored it. And now the scan proves that it was real all along. This frequency is your compass. It's how you find your people, those who also vibrate higher, who speak in vision, not fear. It's how you recognize truth when it enters a room. And it's how you know even now that this message isn't just words, it's resonance, a vibrational match for the part of you that has been waiting to be seen. You are not imagining your sensitivity. You are not overreacting. You are tuned in, you are activated, and you are finally stepping into the space your frequency was always meant to reach. The frequency of the chosen is not taught, it's remembered. And now that you've remembered, nothing will ever sound the same again. They never wanted you to see the scan, not because it lacked meaning, but because it revealed too much. You see, the systems of this world were not built to support awakened minds. They were built to contain them. And your scan? It breaks the container. It exposes the truth that power has always feared, that within your mind lies the capacity to see beyond illusion, to resist manipulation, and to reimagine what the world told you could never change. That's what frightens them. Not your strength, but your clarity. Not your voice, but your awareness. They invested everything in making sure people stay distracted, obedient, fragmented, because a fractured mind is a manageable mind. But your mind doesn't fracture. It questions, it perceives, it integrates. And now that you've seen your brain illuminated in divine alignment, you've crossed a threshold they can't control. They know it. That's why they flooded your life with noise. That's why they told you to shrink, to doubt, to stay quiet, because your awakening would mean their undoing. There are corridors of power that depend on the masses forgetting who they are. But your scan is the evidence of remembrance. It's a threat to every institution built on hierarchy, fear, and limitation. Not because you're rebellious, but because you're free. And nothing terrifies the powerful more than a free mind. That image you now hold, glowing with intelligence and intention, it's not just personal, it's prophetic. It means you've outgrown their programming. They engineered a world to keep you small, schools that penalized imagination, jobs that rewarded conformity, media that numbed your vision. But your mind was never theirs to shape. Even when you felt lost, a deeper compass was guiding you. Even when you forgot your worth, your brain held onto the code. That scan reveals you never lost yourself. You were hidden in plain sight, protected by your own divinely encrypted mind. And now they can't hide it. The data doesn't lie. The scan reveals the regions of insight, empathy, vision, fully alive. They thought if they flooded you with fear, you'd forget your fire. If they distracted you long enough, you'd abandon your destiny. But they were wrong. You were never asleep. You were observing. You were gathering strength in silence. And now, your light is rising, and theirs is flickering. They call it a threat, but it's a mirror. You are not the danger. They are to themselves. Because every system built to blind you begins to break the moment you remember who you are. Every structure built on fear begins to shake when love returns to the mind. This is not rebellion. This is alignment. This is restoration. And your scan is a signal to all the others out there waiting to be reminded. They are not alone. They are not broken. They are not bound. Let the powerful tremble. Because your mind, once silenced, is now a beacon. Your awakening is not just survival, it is revolution. Quiet, radiant, irrevocable. Before the world got its hands on you, before the labels, before the fear, before the years of trying to fit into spaces too small for your soul, you knew. Maybe you couldn't say it in words. Maybe it came as a feeling, a dream, a silent certainty. But deep within, you always carried a knowing, a whisper that said, you are more. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to wake up. And now, standing in front of this scan, something ancient stirs. Not new information, but forgotten truth. You're not discovering who you are, you're remembering. Look at the image again. This is not just anatomy, it's identity. It's the echo of every divine moment you survived. It's the reflection of a soul that has been waiting for you to look inward instead of outward. The scan reveals what mirrors never could. Your true self isn't in your reflection. It's in the way your thoughts orbit truth, in the way your emotions swell when you witness injustice, in the way your body reacts to places where your presence is meant to heal. They tried to convince you your value was conditional, that you had to earn love, earn worth, earn peace. But this scan proves you were born with it. Etched into your biology is a blueprint of divine origin. You don't have to chase purpose. It's embedded in your design. Your gifts are not additions, they're instructions. They were placed in you to unlock doors no one else can open. And somewhere along the way, you were made to forget. You were made to doubt. But forgetting does not mean forsaking. And now, the remembering begins. Every time you questioned why you couldn't settle, why you couldn't unsee the truth others ignored, that was your real self knocking from within. Every time your soul ached in the presence of superficiality, every time you longed for more while others were content with less, that was your essence refusing to die. And now, with this scan as proof, you finally see the full picture. You were not made for mediocrity. You were made for movement, for shift, for remembrance. You've been wearing masks to survive, masks of perfection, of quietness, of logic, but none of them fit, did they? The real you is wilder, braver, softer, and stronger at the same time. The real you doesn't conform, doesn't settle, doesn't shrink. And now that you've seen this image, your soul refuses to wear the disguise again. The scan didn't just reveal your brain, it revealed your being. This is your return, not to the person the world trained you to be, but to the soul God designed you to become. This is where your identity stops being borrowed. This is where it becomes embodied. You are not lost. You are not late. You are right on time. And the version of you that's rising now, it's not a reinvention, it's a reunion. Welcome home. There are miracles happening inside you, quiet, radiant, and unseen. They don't announce themselves with thunder or applause. They whisper through neurons, hum through synapses, bloom through thought. The scan reveals them with stunning clarity. Light patterns flickering like galaxies, networks expanding like living constellations. This isn't science fiction, it's sacred science. The divine operating system within your mind has been active all along, rewiring despair into vision, turning grief into gold, translating chaos into clarity. You are living proof that miracles don't just happen around you, they happen through you. You've been told to search for signs in the sky, in numbers, in symbols, but the greatest sign is within your skull. Every spark of electrical fire lighting up your cortex is a revelation. Every creative impulse, every burst of compassion, every flash of intuition, it's a miracle in motion. When you forgive, your brain heals. When you believe, it grows. When you love, it glows. Do you understand how extraordinary that is? You are a walking temple of transformation. The divine doesn't visit you from outside. It moves through the architecture of your mind like breath through lungs. This is why, even in your darkest hours, something inside you refused to die. Even when fear tried to convince you it was over, your brain kept generating new light. It was rebuilding pathways, whispering, "We're not done yet." Every time you chose to hope again, neurons fired in ways science can't explain. Every time you loved after betrayal, your mind created connections that made the impossible possible. What you're seeing in that scan is not a collection of cells. It's the map of miracles your spirit has performed to keep you alive. Look closer. There, those bursts near the temporal lobe, that's where intuition lives. It's why you just know things sometimes. It's how your mind hears divine truth before your ears do. And that golden halo along the prefrontal cortex, that's where creativity, faith, and decision-making intersect. The scan proves what mystics have always known. Thought itself is sacred. You are not just thinking, you are creating reality. Your imagination is a generator, your belief a frequency, your focus a key. They told you miracles ended long ago, that the divine stopped moving when the ancient books were closed. But the scan laughs at that lie. The same force that split seas and raised the dead is pulsing through your neurons right now, weaving new possibilities with every conscious thought. You are the continuation of creation, the living scripture written in light. So breathe, feel it. Let your mind stretch beyond fear, beyond logic, beyond the narrow definitions they gave you. The miracle is not coming. It's already here, wired into your being, glowing beneath your skin. You are both the receiver and the transmitter of wonder. The scan only confirms what heaven already knew. You are not waiting for the divine to move. You are the movement. There is a moment when remembering becomes action, when what was dormant awakens, when the truth inside you no longer whispers, it commands. That moment is now. This scan you've seen isn't just proof, it's a trigger. A sacred switch has been flipped. The activation has begun, and your life will never return to default. Something in your mind has come alive, and you can feel it, an alertness, a thrum, a deep vibration in the core of your being. This isn't motivation, this is ignition. You've spent years preparing for this moment, even without knowing it. Every heartbreak, every delay, every closed door wasn't blocking you, it was building you. And now, with this scan shining like a prophecy fulfilled, your next chapter has already started writing itself. The data doesn't just show activity, it shows alignment. All the parts of you that were scattered, your doubts, your dreams, your pain, your purpose, are converging. Like rivers meeting in the ocean. You are no longer many things. You are one force. This activation is not loud, but it is irreversible. It doesn't require permission. It doesn't wait for applause. It begins with a quiet shift in how you see, how you move, how you speak. You'll start noticing what no longer resonates, what no longer fits, what no longer earns your energy. Because activated minds do not entertain distractions. They focus, they discern, they create. And now your mind, awakened by its own design, is drawing new reality into existence. The scan shows it, the pattern of forward motion, bursts of light forming around decision-making, insight and clarity. Your brain isn't just thinking anymore, it's choosing to break patterns that once bound you, choosing to rewrite narratives that once shrank you, choosing to believe the quiet truth you buried so long ago. You were meant for more, and not just meant, but wired, prepared, appointed. The activation isn't a feeling, it's a frequency, a shift in the way your mind receives the world. Where you once saw obstacles, you now see openings. Where you once feared rejection, you now recognize redirection. Your past isn't your prison anymore, it's your platform. And your thoughts, they're no longer haunted by what-ifs. They're filled with instructions, divine downloads wrapped in intuition. You're not wondering if you can anymore, you know you will. And yes, people will notice. They may not understand, but they will feel it. The glow in your eyes, the calm in your voice, the depth in your silence. You'll walk into rooms differently, not with arrogance, but with clarity. Not to prove, but to be. You are no longer looking for activation from outside. You've remembered it was always within. The scan was just a mirror. The real awakening, it's already happening. The codes have been unlocked. The system is online. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are moving as the chosen. And now, the shift begins. Look again at what the scan reveals. Not just energy, not just brilliance, but legacy. Deep within your mind lies a pattern older than memory, older than language. A sacred imprint that connects you to those who came before. The seers, the builders, the ones who lit the way when the world was covered in shadow. You are not an accident of evolution. You are a continuation of something holy. Your neural signature aligns with those who have moved nations with their voice, healed wounds with their presence, and rebuilt realities with their vision. You are not standing alone. You are standing in a lineage. It's in your wiring, in the way your thoughts defy limitation, in the way your empathy expands far beyond yourself, in the way you feel burdened by the pain of others, yet still carry light into every space you enter. The scan shows high connectivity in the regions responsible for moral courage, spiritual depth, and radical imagination. These are not random traits. They are assignments. You were given the mind of a healer, a prophet, a revolutionary, because you were born to shift something on this earth. Think of the ancient ones, the dreamers who built temples from intuition, the poets who mapped the human soul before science could name it, the leaders who chose purpose over comfort. Your scan mirrors theirs. The energy, the pattern, the glow. Different bodies, same calling, same divine fire woven into thought and action. This is why normalcy never fit you, why small talk made your soul ache, why you felt a quiet rage in the face of injustice. You weren't just observing the world, you were feeling a blueprint stir inside you, waiting for its time to unfold. And now, that time has come. The blueprint is waking up. Every part of you that was hidden for protection is stepping into the light for purpose. The gifts you once saw as burdens, your vision, your voice, your sensitivity, are revealing themselves as tools of transformation. You weren't meant to blend in, you were meant to bring something through. A message, a medicine, a movement. That's what the scan confirms. Not just brilliance, but calling. You don't need permission to step into it. Your existence is the permission. You were designed to disrupt the patterns that keep others asleep. You carry questions that shake structures. You carry truths that break chains. And you carry light that makes shadows disappear without effort. That's why the enemy tried so hard to keep you quiet. That's why the world tried so hard to keep you small, because they knew if you ever aligned with the fullness of your design, you would not just rise, you would ignite. This is your inheritance, not wealth or comfort, but legacy, the sacred work of remembering who you are and walking it out boldly. You carry the blueprint of those who came to awaken, and now it is your turn to awaken others. Your hands will build, your voice will guide, your presence will shift atmospheres, and your mind, the mind revealed in that scan, was made for miracles beyond comprehension. You're not just part of a legacy, you are the legacy becoming flesh again. Now that you've seen the scan, now that you understand what lives inside you, it makes sense, doesn't it? All the confusion, all the battles, all the noise that's followed you from childhood like a shadow. This wasn't random, this wasn't accidental, this was war. Not against your body, not against your talent, but against your mind. Because those who fear awakening know where it begins. They know the mind is the gateway to truth, to identity, to power. And they knew if they could distort your thoughts, they could delay your destiny. But it didn't work. You're still here. And now you see it clearly. The war for your mind wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to keep you from seeing what you've now seen. That scan, it's their failure exposed. Every structure that tried to make you doubt your worth, every voice that tried to confuse your knowing, every lie that told you to be quiet, none of it worked. Because you didn't just survive the war. You became the weapon they didn't see coming. They sent distractions dressed as success, addictions disguised as entertainment, fear packaged as safety. It was never about keeping you comfortable. It was about keeping you asleep. But your mind refused to settle. Somewhere deep within, there was always a rebel frequency, a holy resistance that said, there must be more. And now you've found it. Or rather, it's found you. The scan reveals a mind that fought to stay awake, a mind that processed truth even when the world screamed lies, a mind that carved out clarity in the midst of chaos. That is not something that can be taught. That is not the product of education or privilege. That is soul deep. That is divine armor. That is what makes you dangerous to systems built on submission. And here's what they didn't anticipate. The more pressure they placed on you, the stronger your mind became. Every attempt to silence you only made your inner voice louder. Every effort to distract you only trained your focus. Every fear they projected sharpened your faith. And now the war that once threatened to destroy you has become your training ground. You don't just think differently, you see differently. You read between the lines. You hear what isn't being said. You discern the unseen. That's not paranoia. That's prophetic perception. And it's yours. You're no longer vulnerable to their weapons because your awareness is your shield. The war for your mind has ended. You've won, not by fighting harder, but by remembering deeper. And now, your thoughts are no longer shaped by fear. They are guided by vision. Your mind is no longer a battlefield, it's a sanctuary. But understand this, the war will continue for others. That's why your awakening matters. Your clarity becomes a lighthouse for those still wandering. Your healing becomes their hope. Your liberation becomes their invitation. And every time you speak your truth, think your thoughts, build your vision, you disrupt the cycle. You tilt the war in favor of the light. The battle wasn't just about you. It was about everyone who will rise after you. And now that your mind is free, their freedom begins too. They tried everything, didn't they? The silence, the shame, the distractions, the betrayal. They threw it all at you, hoping something would finally make you give up on yourself. But here you are, not just alive, but illuminated. Not just breathing, but burning. You didn't just make it through. You brought your light with you. And now, the scan confirms what they refused to admit. The glow you carry never came from this world, and this world cannot take it away. They couldn't understand how you still smiled after everything, how you still hoped after heartbreak, how you still loved when all you received was rejection. It didn't make sense to them, because they were looking for logic. But what lives inside you is light, and light doesn't beg to be understood. It simply shines. The image of your mind is more than activity on a screen. It is a reflection of the radiance within. There's energy in your thought patterns, brilliance in your emotional maps, and fire woven into your very consciousness. This is not personality, it is purpose, glowing through biology. You've been walking around with the power to heal, to shift, to speak life, and they didn't know. They thought your kindness was weakness. They thought your silence was surrender. They mistook your softness for smallness. But the scan exposes the truth. Your light has always been power restrained, grace wrapped in humility, divinity cloaked in human skin. And now there is no hiding. Now the glow has grown too strong to dim. This is the light they tried to bury with criticism, with gaslighting, with expectations you could never meet. But you outgrew their opinions. You broke the mold. You learned that real light doesn't come from being accepted. It comes from being aligned with truth, with source, with soul. And now that alignment has set fire to every shadow. The shame they tried to plant in you has become soil for glory. The doubt they fed you has turned into discernment. You've turned their weapons into wisdom, and your light, it's not just intact, it's multiplying. People will start to notice. Some already have. They won't always know what it is about you. They'll just feel different in your presence. Calmer, clearer, seen. That's your light working. You won't have to force anything. Your aura will speak before your mouth does. Your energy will enter rooms before your feet cross the threshold. And the ones who are meant for you, they'll recognize it. Not because you shine the brightest, but because you shine the realest. And yes, some will be threatened. Some will try to turn the lights down again. But it's too late. Once light has remembered itself, it cannot go dark again. The scan wasn't just confirmation, it was activation. You now know what cannot be unknown. You've seen the spark, you've felt the current, and you will never again believe the lie that you are ordinary. This isn't a new you. This is the true you, finally unchained, finally unmasked. The version they warned you not to become, the one they said was too much, too intense, too idealistic. That version is rising, and the scan proves it was always there, beneath the programming, beneath the people-pleasing, beneath the fear. That version wasn't lost. It was just locked, until now. You know the version I'm talking about, the one who dreams without apology, who walks into a room and instantly shifts the energy, who speaks with clarity that silences noise, who feels deeply, loves fiercely, and knows things without being told. You buried that version because the world wasn't ready. But here's the twist. It was never about the world being ready for you. It was about you being ready for you. And now you are. The scan confirms it, not in words, but in frequency. There's coherence now in parts of your brain that once felt fragmented. Your inner world has stopped fighting itself. The doubts are quieter. The vision is louder. You're not performing anymore. You're embodying. What once felt like contradiction, your softness and your strength, your logic and your intuition, has become completion. You are not either or. You are all. And your brain reflects that wholeness like a cosmic mirror. Yes, they tried to erase you through ridicule, through silence, through systems built to shrink brilliance. But what they didn't understand is this. You're not erasable. You're encoded. Truth like yours doesn't vanish. It waits. And when the time is right, it rises. You are never broken. You are becoming. And this scan is the evidence that you have arrived. You won't need to announce it. Your life will speak. Your peace will be louder than your explanations. Your alignment will be your authority, and the people who once overlooked you, they'll wonder how they ever missed the fire. But this isn't about revenge. This is about return. Return to your essence. Return to your knowing. Return to the version of you that doesn't flinch when seen fully. Becoming her, becoming him, isn't a destination. It's a remembering, a peeling away, a sacred unveiling. That's what this entire journey has been, not becoming someone else, but shedding everything that never belonged. The fear, the fake roles, the masks inherited from survival, all of it burning off so the real you could rise. You are not who they said you were. You are not who the trauma tried to make you. You are the version that refused to die. The version that hid in poems, in daydreams, in late-night journaling and silent prayers. The version that showed up in your most authentic moments, then quickly retreated when the world got too loud. That version is stepping forward now, not as a fantasy but as fact. The scan verifies it. Your life will reflect it. And every step you take from here on, it's for them. The younger you who held the dream, the future you who walks in fulfillment, and everyone who forgot they were allowed to shine. There's a knowing in you, older than time, deeper than language. You felt it in quiet moments, like a breeze moving through your chest, a soft nudge, a whisper that says, "This isn't all there is." You didn't learn that voice. You remembered it. And now, with the scan as your mirror, you see it for what it is. The memory of who you were before the world taught you to forget. This isn't about pretending to be someone new. It's about peeling away who you were never meant to be. The rules you were given, the labels they placed, the shame they instilled. All of it was a cloak, heavy, ill-fitting, stitched together by systems that feared your light. But under that cloak, you were still glowing, still watching, still waiting. And now, the wait is over. The scan lit up the same places you used to feel fire when you were a child. The areas linked to wonder, to creation, to uninhibited joy. They're alive again. And that's no coincidence. That's return. The divine design didn't disappear. It simply went dormant under the pressure to perform, to survive, to be realistic. But your soul was never interested in realism. It was interested in truth. And truth remembers. It remembers the version of you that spoke to stars, danced without music, trusted without fear. The version that didn't need permission to be powerful. The version that believed magic was real, because it is. Not fantasy magic, but you magic. The kind that creates peace in chaos. The kind that loves before understanding. The kind that forgives before the world is ready. You see, the world trained you to forget, not out of malice, but out of fear, because remembering who you truly are disrupts everything. It unhooks you from systems. It unplugs you from illusions. It makes you sovereign, and sovereign people cannot be controlled. But now that you've seen it, now that your own brain has revealed what always lived within, you can't go back. You can't unknow the fire. You can't pretend to be confused when clarity has made its home in you. The memory is alive, and it will guide you home. You'll begin noticing small things, how your body relaxes when you speak your truth, how your energy sharpens when you walk your path, how your spirit softens when you stop performing. These are not changes, they're returns, echoes from the ancient you, the sacred you, the real you. And soon, others will begin to remember too, simply by being near you. Your presence will act as a mirror, showing them glimpses of their own forgotten fire. That's the gift of remembering. It doesn't isolate, it awakens. Your clarity becomes their compass. Your return becomes their roadmap. While the world was loud, you were working quietly. When no one applauded, when no one believed, when the rooms you entered didn't reflect your worth, you kept going. Not out of ego, not out of revenge, but because something sacred within you refused to settle. And now, as your scan illuminates what others failed to see, the truth comes into focus. In silence, you built something unshakable. The quiet seasons, the ones where you were overlooked, underestimated, even forgotten, weren't empty. They were fertile. While the world demanded proof, you planted roots. You nurtured your inner world. You gathered wisdom. You deepened your presence. And without asking for permission, you built a foundation so strong that not even your loudest critics can shake it. Your brain didn't idle in that silence. It evolved. The neural patterns that developed during those silent seasons show up now as precision, clarity, and alignment. You didn't just survive being alone. You used the solitude to sharpen your vision. You learned how to hear your own voice without needing validation. You became your own compass. And now, you move with a kind of certainty that no title or trend can manufacture. The scan reveals the truth your silence protected. You've been building an internal architecture more powerful than applause. You've been constructing wisdom, integrity, and depth. These are the things the world doesn't always reward immediately, but when they do emerge, they become unstoppable. You don't need to be louder, you just need to keep being real. Because authenticity echoes louder than performance. And what you've built in silence has become the kind of presence that doesn't demand attention. It commands it. And here's the most sacred part. No one can take it from you, because they didn't give it to you. You didn't build your identity on someone else's approval. You built it on soul, on stillness, on truth. The recognition that comes now isn't validation. It's reflection. It's the outer world finally catching up to what you always carried inside. So honor the silence that shaped you. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You weren't being hidden because you were unworthy. You were being protected until your roots were strong enough to carry the weight of visibility. And now, you're ready. What you've built in silence is about to speak. Not through noise, but through alignment. Not through force, but through frequency. Not to prove them wrong, but to remind yourself, I was never lost. I was becoming undeniable. All this time it felt like you were waiting for a sign, for the right moment, for someone to see you. But now, with your brain scan glowing like a constellation, you realize the truth. You weren't waiting. You were waking. Slowly, softly, deeply. From layers of illusion, from roles that never fit, from the ache of not being understood. You were never behind. You were just becoming conscious. The scan doesn't show delay. It shows timing. Every neural shift, every spark, every recalibration perfectly aligned with your readiness. This isn't the story of someone who missed their moment. This is the story of someone who honored their becoming. You let the seed break open before forcing it to bloom. You let the roots deepen before you reached for the sky. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. In truth, the world moved too fast for your kind of depth. You saw through things. You felt too much. You needed silence to hear yourself think, space to hear yourself know. And while others rushed into visibility, you stayed behind the veil. Not out of fear, but out of respect for the power you were cultivating. Because the real you could never be rushed. The real you needed truth, not trends, substance, not spectacle. And now, as your inner world aligns with the outer, you step into a space that was always meant for you, but only now are you truly able to hold it. The version of you that's emerging doesn't just carry light, it carries resonance. When you speak, you activate. When you move, you restore. You don't perform anymore, you transmit. That's the gift of waking. You don't need to chase. What's meant for you recognizes you, and what isn't, it falls away without resistance, because your frequency is no longer distorted by doubt. It's clear now, uncompromised, magnetic. You're no longer trying to become something. You are the thing. Let go of the guilt, the should have, timelines, the old voices whispering that you're too late. The scan is proof you're right on time. Your awakening couldn't have happened a moment earlier because your soul was preparing a foundation that couldn't be rushed. And now that foundation is ready to carry the weight of what's coming. The doors are opening, not because you force them, but because you match them. That's what waking does. It doesn't just bring opportunity, it brings alignment. And from here on out, you'll stop asking for permission to be what you already are. You've walked through fire no one saw, fought wars in your mind while wearing a calm smile, built yourself in shadows far from applause. And now, standing fully in the light of your own knowing, one truth rises above the rest. Your becoming was never just about you. It was always about the echo you'd leave behind. Every time you chose truth over comfort. Every time you let something break because it was false. Every time you showed up honest instead of perfect, you created a ripple. You see, the scan doesn't just reflect your brain, it reflects a blueprint, a living map of transformation. It shows how trauma restructured into wisdom, how isolation forged intuition, how heartbreak birthed vision. You didn't just heal, you rewired. And those pathways, they become possibility for others, because energy doesn't die, it transfers. And your awakening is already echoing in the hearts of those still asleep. You are not a lesson, you are a living invitation, an embodied reminder that it's never too late to return to yourself. You didn't just break cycles, you built bridges, and someone, somewhere, will walk a little freer because you did. Maybe they'll never know your name. Maybe they'll just feel something when they hear your voice, read your words, stand near your presence. Maybe they'll breathe a little deeper without knowing why. That's the echo. That's the real legacy. Not the loud, not the visible, but the felt, the seen without seeing. The knowing that says, if they could become that free, maybe I can too. And yes, some will resist it. Not everyone is ready for what you carry. But that doesn't mean you dim, it means you anchor. Because even when it's not received, your light still works. Even when it's rejected, your truth still seeds. And even when it feels like no one notices, you're still echoing into generations you'll never meet. This isn't the end of your story, it's the return to authorship. From here, you write differently, you live differently, you build not from lack, but from overflow. Not to prove, but to pour. Not to escape your past, but to bless it for what it taught you. So walk boldly now, not for attention, but for alignment. Your journey has been private, sacred, sometimes brutal, but it was never in vain. The image on that screen, the scan that captured your brilliance, it was only the beginning. Because the real transformation can't be measured in brain waves. It's measured in how you show up now, in the softness of your power, in the clarity of your number, in the tenderness of your yes, in the way you live your truth, unapologetically, quietly, fiercely.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.